Nobody ever reached greatness without struggle. What makes you think you're so special that you don't have to wait in line and show up to work every single day without seeing any results for a long period of time, just like all the other greats did? Where have you struggled in the past 3 years? Because I'm seeing Nike sponsored, I'm seeing headlines here, headlines there, medals here, medals there. It looks like it's all perfect for an outside eye. Where's the struggle?
I feel like over the last 2 years, I'll say last year and this year, so from like 2022 onward, the biggest thing has been like realizing that maybe my mental health is not where it needs to be. And the biggest change that my parents don't actually know about yet. So, Slay, this is the announcement to my parents. I have a sports psychologist that I've been seeing now, and it's made a ginormous difference. It has literally changed the game for me in ways I didn't even think that it could. And not to say, okay, that's not to also say that I didn't think that it could make a difference, because I did. I think I was so shocked at the vast areas that I needed help with and didn't realize how, I don't want to say behind, but like how I didn't realize how much I thought I was okay in terms of certain things that I actually had been struggling with for a really long time, and just basically like compartmentalized it and was like, "Ooh, I'll just deal with this when I retire, when I'm 32 or 33. It's fine." But that, it just doesn't work like that. And I think now seeing how many other people are recognizing some of their own like struggles and being able to find help and realize it's, all the things, like it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength to find help, and being able to like build yourself up into like the version of yourself that you want to be able to see, in the future, and being all successful and stuff, like, definitely is a good thing that I completely agree with. And I appreciate that there were so many amazing figures to do it that helped motivate me to do it as well. Also having good people around me to tell me like, this is something that I think would be good for you. So I think that's been the big thing. I think just with, I don't know, like thinking about my career, where I thought my career was going to be when I was younger, was very exciting. And it still is very exciting, but there's a lot of unknowns and there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. And I think just being able to talk through some of those things and other like things that went back right to childhood, because they always go back to childhood, is also an important part of being able to grow up and learn to let things go and move forward. Not necessarily move on, but move forward. And that has been, I think, one of the biggest, most important changes that I've made.
What's the difference between moving on and moving forward?
Because I think to be able to move forward is to accept that it's a part of your life and a part of your past and a part of what's made you who you are. And it's recognizing that those things happen and that's okay. And you just kind of continue to move forward with the knowledge and the experiences that it's taught you. And I think, to me, when I think of the words move on, it's kind of like, okay, throw it to the side and then just like keep going kind of thing, which is what I was doing for over 2 decades. So now being able to move forward as opposed to just like throwing it back and like into the back of my brain and being like, I'll deal with that later, I don't need to think about that now, it always catches up. And I think knowing that there could be a time where I could be, who knows, preparing for something big, and I just didn't want to risk those little things catching up and then not knowing how to deal with them, not knowing how to sort of like reel myself back and recognize how much I've grown and changed since, like just over time. And it's, I don't know, I think that to me is the big difference. I think maybe it's just how I perceive the different words, but I like to think of it as moving forward.
I don't know if this is just, again, my brain, but objectively, it's also helping you throw further. Like, it's like, oh, it's a competitive advantage. Let me do it. It's like part of training potentially.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's really cool because it's something I was really inspired by from a fellow training partner to do, is reach out and get help. And it's something that now, talking with Mo, it's so cute. It's so cute because now he'll be like, okay, so now over the next few months as we go up to Paris, we need to make sure we're in peak physical condition and mental condition. Make sure you're talking to that guy. We do love that guy, the sports psych. But it's funny because they've actually met. They've met, and I think they were able to have like a really good conversation and get to know each other. And my first session back after they met, Mr. Sports Psychologist was like, wow, like everything you told me about Mo makes so much more sense now. I was like, yes. But he also was like, wow, what an incredible man. Like, what a life he's lived and what a career he's built. And the things that he does, like, they make so much more sense now, knowing where he's come from and knowing what he wants to see for himself and for you guys. And I'm like, that is the coolest, I think, thing to see, is just when someone is able to understand, I guess, such an important aspect of your life. And to me, Mo is important. He's my family. Like, he's not just coach, he's my family. And the training environment that we have, the training mindset that we have, like, all those things can seem very intense to some people. They can be a lot. And I know Mo likes to say to some of the younger people, if we're ever at the same competition anymore, he's like, do not be around when I'm coaching Camryn. Don't do it. It's going to scare you. And it's just what we've found works for me. And that doesn't necessarily mean it works for everyone, but it works for me. And to have someone that knows you so well is so important. And I also think I just went onto like 3 different tangents. But either way, sports psych is great.
That's what podcasts are for. I am curious, why specifically not tell your parents up until now?
I mean, no reason. I think it was more just there were things I wanted to be able to deal with. Not that they would have, okay, not that they would have asked and not that they would have judged. I think it's something that they actually would be super happy to hear about. I actually have no doubt they would be, they'd probably be super happy to hear about it. But it was something where I was like, I felt like I just wanted to keep it kind of to myself and keep it a little more private and know that it was mine in a weird way. I don't know why, but it was kind of like I want to be able to deal with some things and know that only like a couple people besides me know about them.
Independent work.
Yeah. And I think that it was good. It kept me kind of like clear-minded, level-headed, and yeah, I think it just worked out kind of in my favor. Not that I like don't tell them things, but I think this was just something where I was like, yeah, like I want to be able to do this sort of on my own and be able to, work through things that way too. And I think it was good. I think it worked out. So